Ernesto is forecast to become a hurricane again today, and the tropical wave train continues. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. Great to see you on a Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Coming up in this video, we'll talk about some active weather across our area on this Sunday. We'll have the newest details on Ernesto, north of Bermuda right now, but it's actually forecast to become a hurricane again for today as it strengthens north of Bermuda. And then we'll talk about kind of the potential tropical development here across the area as we move through next week. You know, I'd love to hear from you guys, especially our friends in Bermuda. Let us know how you guys are doing. Again, Ernesto made a direct landfall in Bermuda early on Saturday as a Category 1 hurricane. So again, drop in the comments section below. Let us know how you guys are faring. And of course, I want to hear from all of you as well. We'll start off this video with just what's going on across our region on this Sunday afternoon. We are seeing a few showers and storms developing right now through portions of the Lesser Antilles. You can see that here, our enhanced satellite imagery. You see just a little bit of lightning. Is it a lot? No. I'll put on the visible satellite imagery, but our easterly trays have kicked back in, and there's just enough moisture for St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad, Tobago, down towards Nueva Esparta and Barbados to get a couple of showers to help cool things off, because if you're not getting the rain, it's a very hot afternoon. Feels like temperatures, again, 100 to 105. So creeping into the lower 40s Celsius, we get to 110 and we're up to 43 degrees Celsius. So it can be rough. Very limited opportunity for a shower north of there as well. Martinique and Dominica and Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Bart's, Anguilla, all a brief isolated shower, but we've basically been dry for today. Feels like numbers again running between 100 and 105. It's been hot. It's good to see that the power is mainly back on through the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, but obviously it's been a struggle all week since Ernesto. Right now in St. Croix, it feels like it's 105. St. Thomas, 102. Tortola, around 105. And feels like numbers are no better right now in Puerto Rico, about 110 in San Juan. Again, that's 43 degrees Celsius. Ponce, close to that number. We go farther off towards the west, and now we're getting the showers and storms. You can see that right now. Those storms really beginning to flare up across Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. And they're going gangbusters. They are going very widespread at the hour. A lot of the Dominican Republic and Haiti, showers and storms. Obviously extremely hot before that rain moved in. But this is where the axis of our tropical wave is. It's basically from here back down to just west of the ABC Islands, but we can see exactly where it is on the satellite imagery here. Those thunderstorms are going pretty darn nasty right now. There's a lot of lightning on this late Sunday afternoon. Look at the lightning count here at Meteo Mundo. We went well above 100 strikes in just 15 minutes. So quick, heavy downpours could actually lead to some quick localized flooding in these areas. We're talking about a fast 1 to 2 inches of rain and locally more, 25 to 50 millimeters, and a little bit higher in a couple of spots. Santo Domingo on over towards La Romana, Santiago de los Caballeros, Puerto Plata, and then eventually towards Port-au-Prince and even Lacaille there on the peninsula could catch some of those storms. Now earlier today, I know it's really hot in the ABC Islands, but we had some 35-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, now again, as far as rain chances go, basically nothing. A brief shower is possible here, but Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, it's mainly about the heat, unfortunately. Daytime highs 34 degrees Celsius. Feels like numbers, again, around 43 degrees Celsius. So a very rough afternoon. Getting some showers and storms developing at the hour across our friends in Jamaica right now. And again, not completely widespread across the island. Kingston, again, 115-ish. 40 feels like temperature this afternoon. That's mid 40s Celsius. A couple of storms trying to cool things off, not necessarily in Kingston, but just west of there. Maypen, Hayes, Mandeville, Black River, on over towards Treasure Beach, Sav-la-Bar, areas towards the west, Westmoreland parishes, St. Elizabeth parishes, a little bit more concentration at the hour. Still dry in Montego Bay. Feels like temperature there of 105. And we're going to get slightly better rain chances moving into Jamaica even tonight and tomorrow as the axis of that tropical wave moves off towards the west. That'll be welcome news for the Cayman Islands, as it's been hot, humid, and dry there. Few storms across Cuba. They're really just getting ramped up at the hour. It's been a slightly drier day across most of the Yucatan and Central America, sans what's happening right now in places like Panama and Costa Rica. You get north of there, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize. Scattered storms, mainly just inland right now, trying to get a few storms to flare up near San Ignacio. Earlier today, we actually had a couple near the coastline. You can see that near Belize City, but those faded and then the storms redeveloped. Now, coastal showers for Belize could actually begin developing tonight and overnight. This kind of pattern that we're going to be in here for coastal Belize is we could get some overnight and very early morning rain for places like San Pedro and Belize City and Dengriga, and then the storms kind of flare back up inland with the heat of the afternoon. Same situation for our friends in the Yucatan. You can see a couple of passing showers early in the morning, Cancun, Cozumel. You can see some of those storms are trying to drift down to Cancun at the hour, mainly on the far northern side of the peninsula. And then, my friends in the Bahamas, it's been a relatively active day. We've had storms mainly coming off of far south Florida and the Florida Keys. Some of those have drifted over Bimini and Andros. Let me throw on the radar here, and we'll look at those. And again, the one thing about these storms is they've been very slow moving. So where they develop, they have produced some locally heavy rain. Now, they have missed the Bahamas for the most part, sans our friends in Andros, trying to get an isolated storm to develop over New Providence right now, but certainly more concentrated over Andros. And again, nice little storm flared up on the western side of the island, kind of near the airport there, here in just the last couple of minutes. But the storms are much more active in the Keys and South Florida portions of Cuba. There's actually kind of a elongated area of just instability, which is allowing these storms to flare up. But again, and a lot of you in the Bahamas have told me, look, man, we haven't had a lot of rain lately overall, and feels like temperatures are getting on the hotter side right now, with heat indices again approaching 100 degrees in a couple of spots. Now, I want to get back real quickly to our friends in the Leeward Islands, because another situation just to keep an eye out for is a little bit more concentration of Saharan dust as well, and that will impact the skies for the next day or two. So all the way from the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and down towards the Windward Islands, a bit of haze. There's still going to be some rain. We're still going to have a tropical wave coming in to provide some showers, but there will also be a little bit more hazy conditions. This will dissipate relatively quickly as it moves off towards the west, but I just want to highlight today, tomorrow, maybe early on Tuesday, a bit of haze in the sky. Let's talk about Ernesto. Again, direct landfall over Bermuda early on Saturday morning as a Category 1. Again, love to hear from our friends in Bermuda. Let us know how you're going. If you want to send me a picture or video, myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Now, believe it or not, Ernesto later today is forecast by the Hurricane Center to actually become a hurricane again. It's teetering on it right now with winds of 70 miles an hour. Now, obviously, as it gets into the North Atlantic, it's becoming more of a hybrid system, more of an extratropical system. It could still bring tropical storm conditions to portions of eastern Canada, and then gale force conditions in the open waters of the Atlantic as well. And it has brought dangerous surf and sea conditions up and down the United States eastern seaboard. There were some homes in North Carolina on the coast that were washed away from the rough surf and wave actions that came off of Ernesto hundreds and hundreds of miles away. So this has had some indirect impacts, if you will, to the United States eastern seaboard, and that could also be true for the eastern seaboard of Canada. And by the way, this will lose its punch, but it is forecast to go over our friends in the UK here towards the end of the week, just bringing some showers and some windy conditions to those areas. But the UK is kind of used to that, but just a little bit more concentrated. But again, believe it or not, Ernesto is forecast to re-intensify back to a hurricane, at least briefly. Friends, as we get into the forecast portion of the video, I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing to Meteo Mundo as well. And again, I appreciate all the ways to help support the channel and how you guys have found those, so really appreciate that. So now let's kind of break down, first of all, what's going to be happening early this week. We're going to look at the rain chances. We're going to go island by island, and then we're going to take a little bit more deeper dive of what I expect tropical potential development wise for the week ahead. First of all, if you saw the thumbnail to this video, it's about the tropical wave train coming off the West African coast. There's 4 right now. We have the one that I mentioned with the storms over Hispaniola, which will move west, and it will bring Central America better rain chances the next couple of days. The one that will move through the Lesser Antilles with not as much punch, partly because of the Saharan dust playing a little bit of a factor, but this one was never expected to develop. But we always have to watch the waves in the Central Atlantic for potential development, and there's another one about ready to merge off of the West African coast as well. So let's look at what's going to be happening. First of all, actually, let me just show you on satellite imagery what I'm talking about here. So we have one situated right here, and then another one about ready to come off of the coast. Now, just because they're tropical waves doesn't mean they're going to become tropical disturbances, right? Tropical waves are elongated areas of showers and storms. We get about 70 every hurricane season coming off of the west coast of Africa, okay? And so we'll have to watch out for when they develop or where they develop. Now, in the short term, the 2 waves that are in the Caribbean right now or about ready to enter the Caribbean are not going to become a tropical system. So let's talk about the rain that they're going to bring, because obviously that's a benefit to most areas when we're not talking about something that's going to wrap up and become a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or something like Ernesto. And obviously, many of you have mentioned how hot it has been lately, so this rain will try and cool things off a little bit. Again, is there a very big concentration of rain over the next few days in our area? No, but there will be some areas with some higher rain chances. Now, today it was Hispaniola. That's going to be punched off towards the west in some ways, but I just want you to notice that, I was looking at the NAM, looking at the GFS, a couple of the other models. None of them really had a huge concentration of rain in the Northwest Caribbean, but I've upped the rain chance a bit for Jamaica. So our friends in Kingston, Portmore, Spanish Town, and Negril, Montego Bay, across the island, your rain chances will be slightly improved. The Cayman Islands will also enjoy a healthier rain chance as well. Nothing exorbitant, but some downpours are possible here. Now, there'll be a little bit more moisture down in the Southwest Caribbean. So Panama and Costa Rica and Nicaragua and Honduras will have better rain chances, and that will try and spread up and kind of spiral into places like San Pedro Sula and Roatan and Belize City. Scattered storms for the peninsula of the Yucatan there, Quintana Roo in general, nothing crazy outrageous. Just want to mention, we don't talk a lot about the Pacific. On this channel, we can't cover everything. We'll, there's a lot down the road we want to plan, but I just want to mention that there are 4 potential, we've got 1 already, but there are 3 other areas of potential tropical development in the Eastern Pacific, and some of that could try and begin to impact Hawaii towards the end of the week. So just of note there if you have any interest in that area. Now, one of the areas that's actually going to have a better chance for rain is going to be in the Bahamas, especially the Northwest Bahamas. There is a weak cold front, believe it or not, this time of the year that's just going to try and nudge into North Florida, but it's also going to push a mid-level trough, basically an area from west to east, to kind of drape itself across Central and South Florida, kind of quasi-stationary going back and forth. But the bottom line is there'll be more moisture. Showers and storms will line up across that trough axis, and we're just going to get a better chance for rain for Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, Bimini, Abaco, maybe Andros, and New Providence. It's a little concentrated only in extreme Northwest Bahamas, Eleuthera South, brushing it, but you get down towards Cat Island and Exuma, probably not going to be directly influenced by that trough. Florida itself is going to have a much better chance for showers and storms starting late Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe through the end of the week, by the way. And some of that I think will carry over into the Northwest Bahamas. So our friends there, get prepared for that. Turks and Caicos will remain relatively dry, just a few scattered showers, nothing extremely concentrated in Puerto Rico and the U.S. British Virgin Islands and the Lesser Antilles in general. Rain chances I do expect to go up by Wednesday. So the model's probably not showing it in great enough detail, but I do expect there to be more showers overall for us here. But the good news is that in the shorter term, don't expect any tropical development and anything that I just mentioned. And of course, Ernesto will pull into the North Atlantic. So let's break down the rain chance for you island by island. We'll start with our friends in the Northwest Bahamas. 40% chance tomorrow, 50% Tuesday and Wednesday. There could be a day where a little bit drier air nudges in briefly, but overall, I think the rain chance, if we were to extend this out Thursday and even into the weekend, could be just as high as what we're going to see midweek. I'll keep an eye on that, but it could be a relatively active wetter pattern. Central and southeast Bahamas, again, just a little bit too far south, still isolated storms there, but not as concentrated. Turks and Caicos, about the same situation. Cuba will continue to see slightly elevated rain chances as that first tropical wave moves by, and still a healthy 50% Tuesday and Wednesday. Cayman Islands rain chances are at least better. Again, spotty in nature. You might only get rain 1 or 2 out of the 3 days, but hopefully you get some. Belize City, 50% chance tomorrow, then up to a 60% chance on Tuesday. So healthy rain chances stay there. And again, some of that could be overnight and early in the morning. And then Cancun and Cozumel is relatively isolated. Jamaica's best rain chances will be late tonight, tomorrow, slightly lower Tuesday and Wednesday, okay? And again, hot when it's not raining in the area. 60% for the Dominican Republic tomorrow, 50 on Tuesday, slightly fades on Wednesday. Puerto Rico, U.S. and British Virgin Islands stay with decent rain chances, 40 to 50% chance most afternoons. Still very hot though before those storms get going. Bermuda's rain chances will actually come back up by midweek. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, low chance tomorrow, building Tuesday, much higher on Wednesday. And that's basically what you're going to see across the rest of the Lesser Antilles. Places like Antigua, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, around a 30% chance, a little bit lower farther south for tomorrow. Tuesday's rain chances are kind of all over the place. Rough average 30 to at most 40. And then rain chances are better on Wednesday, 50 to 60% chance. Barbados, again, slightly farther south, a little bit lower chance with this next wave coming through. So there'll be rain for Barbados, skipping on by. Same thing for Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago. Just the rain chance overall is not as high. That being said, you catch one of these heavier showers, guys, you're going to get the potential for some isolated flooding. There will be some good moisture associated with this next tropical wave. It's just moving relatively quickly. And again, it's not going to wrap up into a disturbance. Suriname and Guyana stays with decent rain chances. Nueva Esparta, slightly better chance on Tuesday and Wednesday. Still not expecting a lot of rain for our friends in the ABC Islands. Another issue, of course, is what's going on with the waves. Now, with Ernesto departing stage north, we're going to see things calm down across the United States eastern seaboard and the Bahamas, mainly staying with our easterly trades, guys. So don't expect any huge highlights here. Fresh winds will be a story. We're going to have some pretty strong winds out there. Now, rainfall, as you notice, up into the Bahamas, that's one of the areas with the highest totals. We're talking about probably 3 to 4 inches of rain, again, from New Providence and Eleuthera and Andros north and west over the next 7 days. It fades as you go south and east. Scattered showers and storms, greater and lesser Antilles. More concentration of rain back into portions of Central America, especially Panama and Costa Rica. When we take a look at the GFS model numbers on that goes, you're not going to see much of a difference. Again, just to kind of highlight, this is the GFS. You looked at the European. Again, over the next 5 days here on the GFS model, it shows the same scenario I just mentioned, that higher rain is likely Eleuthera, New Providence, and Andros North through Walker's Key and Grand Bahama, including Freeport, Lucaya, and High Rock, and then it fades off towards the south and to the east. Everyone else, it's just kind of spotty. Again, very localized, but heavy rainfall in Cuba, and then just more isolated and spotty rain. Still could be some heavier downpours, and there's that big swath of rain. A lot of that staying offshore of Panama and Costa Rica, but again, whatever drives inland, as I mentioned in Belize, it's some pretty decent rain there in Belize, 2 to 3 inches, 50 to 75 millimeters there, and a couple of heavier spots through portions of Quintana Roo as well, Cancun towards Merida as well. Opportunity to pick up a few inches of rain in those areas. So I do want to get back over to, again, what I expect for the next week as far as any potential tropical rain goes. So I'm going to bring on, let's see here, let's go to the GFS, and I'm going to load up our vorticity product. And you guys know I love to show you this. This is basically kind of a good analysis tool. It's going to give me just 1 second here to bring this up. So what we're looking for in this tool is spin in the atmosphere. Now, the first things first, Hurricane Center is not highlighting any areas over the next 7 days. It's great news, especially as we head towards late August, to not be in a situation where we really have to watch each and every wave for development, all right? That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be keeping a hawk's eye on these, okay? Because in this La Nina, deep ocean temperatures, very little wind shear, spin-ups can happen very quickly. But the two that are traversing the Caribbean over the next couple of days don't look to be developing. Down the road, we start to see a little bit more action here in the Atlantic. But over the next 7 days overall, things could stay relatively quiet. Okay, I think the waves that I've shown you here coming off the West African coast, while there'll be some inherent spin and you can see some of that vorticity, as far as something that really just tries to wrap up significantly here in the main development region, the Atlantic Basin, it looks to be a relatively low chance. Believe it or not, it might be slightly higher once the waves actually enter the Caribbean. But that won't happen until about a week from now. So we could be devoid of any true tropical development for about a week. And we'll get into what the end of August into early September looks like, because all the models really start signaling much more activity. But the models for the next 5 to 7 days are relatively quiet. We're going to see, again, 3 to 4 different tropical waves in the picture. And I think down the road, those third and fourth waves will need a little bit more vigorous, eyeballing as to make sure nothing gets a little bit crazier with them. But they will be bringing fast moving showers and storms. And you saw the rainfall totals that go in accordance with it. But again, for basically kind of the third into the fourth week of August, we're looking pretty good here across our area. Friends, you can find me across all social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. Again, send me a picture at mymeteomundo@gmail.com. You have a specific question about the forecast, you can drop that in the comments section below. Thank you again for liking this video and subscribing. If you want these daily forecasts and your tropical updates across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, can't thank you guys enough for that support. Really means a lot. We need to keep that going, that train going as well. And I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow with the latest in our area, right here at Meteo Mundo.